Yo, welcome to the AllfaxN.Oslack Saints podcast. It's your boy Kevin, man, here to discuss the New Orleans Saints 2023 draft. And when I tell you I love the draft, I loved it, right? Die hard New Orleans Saints fan, but anybody who knows me knows I can't stand homers. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a homer, and I will nowhere near try to be that. And what I mean by homer is represent your team, love your team. That's not what I mean. But people who will see their team do wrong, see their team like the shit that don't make sense, and the team can do no wrong, is what I'm getting at with Homer. So let's just get that out the way. Support and love your team, but I can't stand you motherfuckers who act like your team don't do nothing wrong. So side quest done. But I love what the Saints did in the draft. They handled business. They didn't waste picks. Everything they did made sense. We covered needs mixed with insurance policies. I felt the fourth round on back was insurance policies that we needed and steals. So let's get down to it, man. First round pick Brian Brzee at pick 29 from Clemson, defensive tackle. This guy coming out of high school was I think he was like a number one rated guy, a really high rated guy. High motor. This guy's like what 6'5", 300 pounds, big guy. But I think he ran like a 4.8 or something at the combine. But this guy's a very, very just he's Trevor Penning at defensive line. You feel me? Like he's a mixture of a pass rusher slash run stopper. But you know them D tackles. You ain't expecting much sacks out of him. But he rushes the passer. He's real good at that. And you just look at some of his stuff. He's a big guy, strong guy. But the big thing about him was, people's like, oh, well, he had an ACL injury in 2021. It's been 2 years since then. And I think he had a shoulder injury. But the biggest thing with him, rest in peace to his sister Ella Strong. Um, you know, this kid's kind of shown adversity, man, and it shows maturity. And he had a sister that passed away with I think brain cancer. Prayers to him and his family. And this guy was still playing, man. And that whole ordeal was going on about a year and a half with his sister fighting, and the whole time he's playing. So obviously that mental effect, that it kind of affected his play a little bit along with the injuries here and there. But the medicals checked out fine at the combine. The medicals checked out fine when the Saints went to go talk to him and bring him in and visit him. So it was a good pick at 29. We didn't move up. It was good that we didn't move up for him. It was kind of projected that we was gonna have to move up for him. But getting him at 29 and him falling to us was just huge, that we didn't have to spend capital on what was a need. Um, Next pick was and the guy before him, Miles Murphy, was another guy that they was talking about that we was possibly going to look at defensive end, but still in all, we needed DT. But we covered DN in the next pick at pick 40. Isaiah Foskey out of Notre Dame. DN, I think he's like 6'2", 265, if I believe correctly. And I'm talking about, he's an edge rush specialist. He's a pass rush specialist. Double-digit sacks back-to-back years at Notre Dame. If I believe correctly, he is the sack leader right now at Notre Dame. And it's gonna be kind of like a common theme along with these guys, man. Before, like with Sean Payton, towards the end of his tenure, we was getting a lot of these guys that was more so projects at key positions. Look, I don't mind you there, I don't mind people who aren't developed. That's the job, to develop guys to get talent. But when you have certain needs at certain positions and shit, you have to try to get at least to a close of a finished product as possible. So it was kind of fucking around with that. But as I digress, Isaiah Foskey, there's a little bit more work to be done at that position, but he's proven, man. He the production is there. The production is there on paper. So it's not too much development that has to really go on. And let me take that back. You're not going off on a limb on what can he be, because he's shown on paper that he can be there, or as far as a pass rusher. So I love that pick, and he was ecstatic to come here. He was telling all his family like, "Hey, man, I talked to the Saints. I really love them. I want to go there. I want to go there." And it's kind of confirmed to talk to his people that he was saying that. But nonetheless, love the pick. We needed it. Running back. And like I said, D tackle, D end, running back, Kendra Miller out of TCU. Ran for 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns. Doesn't have a lot of passes caught. I don't give a fuck. I don't care about my running back catching passes. To be honest, I want ground and pound. I want bruises, want cut, backs, balance. I love the kid, and I think more so on the passes caught was because they didn't just throw much to him because he was just such a good runner. And that's not what they did. Max Duggan was a runner, and that was just kind of more towards the offense was geared. But this guy is coming in with piss and vinegar. Showing respect to Alvin in the team, but he's like, look, I'm coming for that #1 spot. And that's what I want. I want guys coming in ready to take jobs, even if they can't, which he probably can. This dude's 20 years old. I think he makes 21, but he's a young guy. He's coming in. Look, man, I respect Alvin Campbell. I want to take jobs. That's the fuck I'm talking about. But, nonetheless, we needed that. So D tackle, D end, running back, done. First 2 days. Didn't have to move up for him. Now you get into day 3 with the Saints finally get back to their old ways and they trade up. And we trade up for an offensive lineman. I'm not going to say a guard. I'm not going to say a tackle. I'm not going to say a center. He labels himself as an offensive lineman. Nick Saldivari out of Old Dominion. This guy is, he says on this thing, I can play center, I can play guard, I can play tackle. But when they called him out, I think they called him out as a guard when they drafted him, I might believe. And the thing that I learned with those drafts, if you're one of the multi-position guys, whatever they put on their card to call you on draft day, it's kind of like sort of what they kind of want you to kind of look at and play. So, Andrews Pete on the last year of his deal took a significant pay cut. This might be his last year. Cesar Ruiz, they didn't pick up his 5th-year option, but that's for kind of really something else. He's coming out of a boot. His best year was last year because that guy was originally a center, but stupid ass Sean Payton switched him to guard during the COVID year. Didn't have much experience because we drafted Eric McCoy the year before. So they didn't accept Cesar Reed's 5th-year option because of how much it was. I think like $14 million something. He can play this year out, do good again, and they can come up to an agreement where it's cheaper per year. But this guy, in case Cesar Ruiz hits the market and find another place he wants to go, and Andrew Pete last year, this guy can play guard. He's going to play the inside. That's what Dennis said. And we go to another trade back into the 4th round with, towards the end, quarterback Jay Kane out of Fresno State, same school Derek Carr went to. And the more I look this kid up, I love this kid. I love what the ceiling on this guy. He's a gamer. He is a rhythmic passer. He's very accurate. He's averaged 68 completion percentage during his collegiate career. Last year, I think he threw for 72%. He missed 4 games. He's more of the Saints offense right now. I'm a guy that always push for mobile quarterback. He's not like a statue, but he's not really towards the mobile guy that I want. But my big thing was I had guys I wanted like DTR, Max Duggan, friggin' Clayton too, But my main focus, I had the guys I liked, right? But I really just wanted youth in the room. And he's a younger guy. I think he's like 24 or something like that. And you get him behind a Derek Carr's 32. You get him behind a Jameis Winston, who's like 29, making 29, something like that. And I didn't want to go into the season with Jameis being a backup because he suffered 2 big injuries himself back-to-back years. So getting the young guy in there along with somebody who's actually pretty good. And looking at dumbass, as I get older, I've learned to don't respond to anything. I'm seeing dumbasses call him a wasted pick. Ian Book, this dude just has better stats than Ian Book coming out. This is a guy that more fits our system. Ian Book was more of a runner type of style guy. This guy was a Senior Bowl MVP. You want to see his best game? Go check him out. Fresno State versus UCLA. This guy's pretty damn clutch and is a fucking tough ass guy. But he's very accurate, has good numbers at Fresno State. Actually, as a Saints fan growing up, dude is from San Jose, right, where there's the Raiders and the 49ers. He actually has receipts, man, of being younger Saints jersey with a Reggie Bush jersey on. Changed his number to number 9 in college at Fresno State because he's a shorter guy. They always hit the when you're shorter and all that. They try to call you Drew Brees like, but he and I actually shut that shit down a lot. And to be like Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, You know what I'm saying? Who is Johnny Manziel, Russell Wilson, I don't care if you're short and under 6 foot and you're a quarterback. You gotta have some type of likeness to it. But this guy, I'm not saying he's Drew Brees like, but he does like. This is the only one that I'm not really fighting because of the rhythmic passing, the accuracy is crazy, and the game of mentality. And he's pretty much formed his game after him. I won't lie, check him out. He's formed his game after Drew Brees, and it's close. It's obviously Drew Brees Hall of Fame, but you get what I'm saying. It's more than what those guys I named that they just throw because they're under 6 feet. So at worst, if he's a backup, you know what I'm saying? But I like the approach that they're taking with taking guys in and trying to make them something and being serious about it. Not just slapping guys in, we're just going to put a guy in there. No, they're taking guys who kind of fit the system, who has real stats, and, there's potential there. Now, way before the Saints drafted this guy, you could go look back months ago, people were calling this guy a sleeper. They were like a sleeper pick. They said, look, if this guy was taller and played outside of the Mountain West, he'd be talked about in the top 5. So I think we stole a guy. And this ain't the first guy I think we stole in this draft. So I really love this pick the more I started looking him up. So, again, can't wait to see about this guy in camp too. Also, you got Jordan Howden. He's a safety, played a lot of football in college. I think he just like Jake Canner, he took an extra year because of a COVID year. I think he has something like 3,000 plus snaps with only less than 3-5 penalties, something crazy. But he'll be a good depth piece. We run with a lot of DBs in our system. We run like a 4-2-5. You know what I'm saying? We run a lot of nickels, so he could. We have room for safety. We're gonna need another safety back there. Tyler's getting older. We got Marcus May going on with his shit. So if he could wind up playing in nickel, which he played a lot of nickel in college. It's insurance policy at the least. Nick Saldivari, insurance policy at the least, can play our position. Jay Canner, if Derek Carr gets hurt, Jameis gets hurt, he at least is the closest to run the system. That's kind of what he did in college and at the Senior Bowl. Was a Senior Bowl MVP. Insurance policy at the least. Then you go with this last pick, which might be one of the biggest steals of the draft, with A.T. Perry from Wake Forest, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, 26 touchdowns, and it's criminal. I'm talking about shiesty, man. It's highway robbery. We got this guy at the end, traded Troutman, see you later, bye, motherfucker. Talking about you wanted a bigger role. Motherfucker, you didn't drop more passes than touchdowns and probably and then picks that we used to trade you. So good. So this guy, man, look this guy up. He's more of a Michael Thomas body type, 6'3". I think he's about 206, 207, something like that. Runs a 4.5. Apparently Wake Forest is known for their offense. This guy's caught a lot of balls. I think they say the biggest thing is he had 17 drops in 2 years, but I think he was getting at least 140 targets a year, something like that. But you go look at the guy's numbers. There ain't nothing good coaching can clean up with Cody Burns. I love the draft. I'm not going to give it a grade. Fuck the grades. People talking about Mel Kiper and all that. Look, you never truly know what this shit pans out to be until a few years down the line anyway. So, fuck a grade. I'm just happy that the Saints got what they needed. They didn't fuck around. They didn't play around. They weren't wasteful. And the picks that we used to trade up to get Saldivari and Jay Canner were like 4th-round picks, 7th-round picks. We actually have comp picks after today, like 2 fourths and something. So what we use, we're going to be able to recoup back in compensatory picks for next year anyway. So it was safe, calculated risk for these guys who can become great insurance policies for the Saints down the road. And again, still with the draft, A.T. Perry's coming in pissed off. He doesn't even know why he fell. He said apparently a character issue, and he doesn't like that. He seems like a real chill guy. So there's a production with all these players in this class. I think they all have a fit, whether it's now, well, at least for sure the first 3 picks now, including A.T. Perry at the back end, now, And if Michael Thomas gets hurt, he's kind of a body type that could kind of fit in. I'm not saying he's going to replace Michael, but that's the body type. But go check them out. Go check out Jay Cannon. Go check out A.T. Perry. They're one of my favorite. And Kendrick Miller. Those are like my favorite 2-3 guys out this draft, and I'm loving it. Holla at y'all. Who that? Can't wait to training camp. Peace.